Καλημέρα σας από το 26ο συνέδριο InfoCom World. Δίπλα μου βρίσκεται ο κύριος Azfar Aslam, ο οποίος είναι Business Development Head της Nokia για την Ευρώπη στον τομέα του Network Infrastructure. Mr. Aslam, nice for you to be with us today.
Nice to be here. Yes, thank you.
I would like you to tell us a few words about Nokia at the moment. Where are your priorities and what are you key investing in right now globally?
I think the key thing is that as we look at the way the world is changing towards more data, more cloud consumption, what's becoming really clear is that the infrastructure that supports the old cloud services is going to become a lot more high performing. So highest performance, and then combine that with the security requirements of the cyber world going forward. When we look at those changes in the market, the threats that we are seeing almost every day in those spaces. So our priority is to make sure that we continue to deliver the very high performing infrastructure, so the networking infrastructure, so that's the IP networks, the fixed access networks, the optical networks, the data center networks, in a way that we can continue to deliver the demand of the market, the growth that we're seeing in the data, not just in the network, but also in the data center. So our priorities are pretty straightforward in that regard. So we are building the world's most high-performance silicon to enable those services, whether it's in our fixed access network in our fiber, whether it's in our IP routing platform, or in our optical networks. And just to give you an idea, the FP platform which we have used in our IP networks has come leaps and bounds over the last many years. So in the last 20 years, we've gone through major changes. But with each change, with each next generation of the capability, we bring a significant performance gain, but we also bring the sustainability achievements in the sense that we are able to reduce the power consumption in each of those platforms. So performance, security, and sustainability are kind of center of our strategy. When we look at the same platform, what we decided was to change the game in security. So when we talk about the cyber threats to our customers, the enterprises, the governments, the consumers, one of the biggest threats that has emerged in the last few years are things like the distributed denial of service attacks, the volumetric attacks as we call them. So what happens there is that the bad actors then try to disrupt your services. They try to stop the government from operating. They try to block the data and services for an enterprise. So what we realized was with this fantastic silicon that we're developing, we actually have enough capability to build the security on the silicon itself, and then be able to stop those really bad attacks that are coming and disrupting the services around the world. So that's one example of delivering our own silicon to meet the performance requirement, bringing the security, but at the same time, reducing the power consumption as we go from one generation to the other. So that's kind of a summary of where we are. And by the way, that story continues in terms of the leadership on performance in other areas like the optical networks. When we look at the optical networks, their role in the past was just provide the connectivity all around the world, but also in the cities, and now between the data centers. So that's kind of business as usual. What we're also finding is that we now have again the silicon capability, silicon-based capability, where we can do fiber sensing. Fiber sensing is really interesting. It serves a lot of purposes, from sensing the path to deliver better quality of service, so higher bit rate and higher performance, but also to detect events, whether this is deep sea, so in the submarine cables, or on terrestrial cables. It could be on a campus, and we can actually figure out when people are walking in certain parts, certain type of vehicles are driving around a certain part. So that fiber sensing capability brings a lot of use cases on top of the communication that we're delivering. So once we are done with all of that, then we realize actually the world of threat isn't stopping. So in the more recent times, in the last couple of years, we realized there are some states and some companies and institutions that will have the quantum computing capability to be able to decipher the encryption that are run on the networks. So in response to that, to preempt that, we have created the quantum safe networking capability. And this is a twist. A lot of the companies are working on quantum safe and the optical networks. But we did that, but we also implemented the quantum safe network in the IP network. Because our customers sometimes have the IP connectivity to their end enterprise or the government, but they don't have optical or vice versa. So we came up with a solution that makes you quantum safe through both the IP network as well as the optical network. So these are some of the priorities in helping our customers, the governments, the enterprises, and the consumers to continue to run their businesses and operations in their lives.